Hello students, in this lesson you're going to learn how to say adjetivos demostrativos y pronombres in Spanish. In other words, you're going to learn how to say words such as these, that, those and these. Female demonstratives adjectives. Esta, esa, aquella for singular nouns. Esta silla es roja. I use esta because the red chair is close to me. Esa silla es amarilla. That chair is yellow. I use that because the yellow chair is close but not as close as the red one. Aquella silla es azul. Now I'm referring to the blue chair, and I used aquella because it's the furthest away from me. Use esta for when the noun is close to you. Esa for when the noun is kind of close but not that close. And use aquella for when the noun is the farthest away from you, but still within view. Now, let's take a look at examples with the plural adjectives. Estas, esas, and aquellas. A mí me gustan aquellas sillas azul y púrpura. I used aquellas because the chairs I'm talking about are the ones that are the farthest from me, and they are more than one. They are plural, the blue and the purple. A mi amiga le gustan esas sillas amarilla y verde. Now I'm talking about the yellow and green chair. They're not that far, but they're not the closest either, so I used esas. Masculine demonstrative adjectives. At this point, I'm going to talk about these three elephants that I have here. I'm going to use este, ese, and aquel to point out to them. Este elefante es de tamaño grande. For the one that is closest to me, I say este, referring to the big one. Ese elefante es de tamaño pequeño. I'm talking about this elephant right here. And I use ese, which translates to that, because it's not as close as the big one. Aquel elefante es de tamaño mediano. Now I'm talking about the elephant that is the farthest away from me. I used aquel. Although ese and aquel both translate to that in English, you used aquel for when the object you're talking about is farthest away, but still within view. Now for the plural examples. Estos, esos, aquellos. Remember, use estos for when the noun that you're talking about are closest to you. Esos for when the noun are somewhat close. And use aquellos for when the noun is the furthest away from you, but still within view. Todos esos elefantes están caminando. All those elephants are walking. Now I'm talking about all of them. I decided to use esos. Estos elefantes caminan más rápido que aquel elefante. These elephants walk faster than that elephant. Things to remember, students. Always match the demonstrative adjective with the noun is referring to in number and gender. And second, demonstrative adjectives do not have the written accent mark. Okay, students, now check for understanding. Match these feminine nouns with the correct demonstrative adjectives. Then stop the video and check for the correct answer in the next slide. Here are the correct answers. Check your answers. How did you do? Now, students, check for understanding again. Try and match these masculine nouns with the correct demonstrative adjectives. Stop the video and then check your answer in the next slide. Here are the correct answers, students. How did you do? Female demonstrative pronouns. The female demonstrative pronouns act very much like the demonstrative adjectives, but the only difference is that they replace the noun altogether instead of just pointing at it. Let's take a look at the example so this will become clear to you. Esta lata de Coca-Cola está más cerca que aquella. This Coke can is closer than that one. In my example, the word aquella replaced the noun Coke can. Aquella está más lejos que esta. That one is farther than this one. In this example, the word aquella and esta replace the noun altogether. I did not say the words Coke can. Instead, I said that one and this one. Therefore, it's a pronoun. Esas dos son mías. Those two are mine. In my example, I notice again I did not mention the words Coke or can. I replaced those words with pronouns, esas. Notice that I use esta, esa, and aquella to replace the noun accordingly to how close to me the nouns were. For the closest, I use esta, esa if they're not as close, and aquella for the furthest. Masculine demonstrative pronouns. These pronouns work very much alike the female ones, except they replace nouns that are masculine. Este, ese, aquel for singular masculine nouns. Estos, esos, aquellos for plural masculine nouns. Este es de tamaño grande. This one is of a big size. The word este has replaced the noun elefante. Ese es de tamaño pequeño. That one is of a small size. The word ese has replaced again the word elephant. I use ese because this elephant is close but not as close as este. Aquel es de tamaño mediano. That one is of a medium size. I have used the pronoun aquel to replace the noun elefante. And I have used aquel because I'm referring to the elefante that is the farthest away from me. Estos caminan más rápido que aquel. These ones are walking faster than that one. The pronoun estos have replaced these two elephants, and the pronoun aquel have replaced the farthest elephant from me. Remember, use este for when the noun is closest to you, ese for the pronoun that is not as close but still close, and aquel for the pronoun that is the furthest away from you but still within view. Things to remember, students. The demonstrative pronouns always agree in number and gender with the noun it replaces. Also, demonstrative pronouns always have written accent marks. Remember, this is very different from the demonstrative adjectives. The demonstrative adjectives do not have written accent marks. So, demonstrative pronouns put an accent mark. Demonstrative adjectives do not put an accent mark. That's how you can tell them apart. Hope you have enjoyed the lesson, students. See you in the classroom.